structures. This is a Category 1 meeting. The public is invited to observe this meeting or listen in, and will have one or more opportunities to communicate with the NRC when the times come up according to the agenda. And those times are prior to lunch at 11:45, give or take, and prior to the meeting adjourning, which is right now scheduled for 3:30. It could go late, it could be a little bit early. It's hard to tell. There's a lot to cover, but we never know. For the folks in attendance, the exits are as marked in the hallway. I'm sure. The restrooms are across the elevator lobby and to the right. You'll need an escort to get back through the doors. We can actually walk through the hall without going through the elevator lobby, but you'll need escorts either way, it looks like. I have public meeting feedback forms available for those in attendance, and I can email those to anybody who contacts me. Again, my phone number is 301-415-1383. Just let me know. We'll go through introductions of people in the room, and then we'll get to the people on the phone. Again, my name's Perry Buckberg. I'm the Senior Project Manager in NRC New Reactors Office, working for the North End of Unit 3, COLA.
I'm James Sewell, Chief of the Structural Engineering Branch, responsible for this review.
I'm a Structural Engineering Branch.
I'm Noel Beaton, the Brooklyn International Lab.
I just enjoyed that analysis as a structural engineer.
Doug Kemp, Bechtel, supporting engineering, project engineer.
Mark Giles, I'm the Director of Tech Support for Northern 3.
I'm Joe Hagner, Dominion. I'm the Licensing Manager.
Adrian Pasani, Excel Support.
Gina Borch, Dominion Licensing Lead.
Skip Schimmer, GEH Project Manager. John Waddell, Dominion Engineering.
Patricia Campbell, GEH Regulatory Affairs.
Ross Milliken, Dominion Licensing.
Monica Hughes.
Each Principal Project Management. Vladimir Dreiser, Technology.
Vincent Patel, I'm the Project Manager for North Carolina.
For folks on the phone, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves. I'm going to try to write down who is present. I may contact you or somebody at Dominion to correct any spelling errors. But if you're on the phone, please identify yourself.
Erica Gray, Henrico, Virginia.
Good morning, Erica.
Morning.
David Martin, Martin Image News.
Morning.
Matt Heiser, GE Hitachi, Civil Structural.
Dan Howard, Floor Regulatory Affairs.
What was your name again?
Dan Howard.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
That's Mark Loeffler of Enercon, supporting Dominion.
This is Taylor Blake, GE Hitachi, Civil Structural.
Jaspal Sani, Bechtel, supporting Dominion.
Jess Paul.
Yes, Paul, thank you.
A-I-N.
Anybody else on the phone?
Mute on.
Okay, thanks very much for introducing yourselves. For those listening in as well, we're going to be going through a presentation in a short while, and the Adams of session number for the presentation is ML14169, A as in Apple, 356. So anybody else on the NRC side want to introduce or make any opening comments? You can ask in the same.
I think I'll just say a few words. Good morning and welcome to NRC. And I would like to thank Dominion for proposing this follow-up meeting. We had the meeting last time to discuss staff proposed REIs, and this meeting will complete discussion of the remaining REIs. The other goal I would like to achieve through this meeting is to have the Dominion provide a concrete plan for, addressing the REIs, identify specific analysis, and even perform the milestones so that the staff can prepare resources and schedules so that we can have our plan which is compatible with yours, moving forward with our review. Again, thank you very much. Hopefully we'll have a successful meeting.
Let me turn it over to Regina with Dominion, and any opening comments, or just get into it.
Thanks. Mark, you want to say something?
Yeah, I would like to say a few words. I appreciate your comments there. I mean, we're very much aligned with those same goals for this meeting. But it's been a tremendous amount of work that I've been putting into the presentation of the material to discuss the REI responses and our approaches. So I think it's critically important that we have very open, candid discussion on the approaches that we're implementing. We're really looking for clarity and alignment. So if there is something that you see, even initially, that is not opportunity to review or is not what you're looking for, we really need that feedback as soon as possible. So the items we do is clearly for the COLA. And we very much want to do everything we can to support the staff's review so we can stay on the public schedule that's been issued for the COLA review. So that's key critical for us. I appreciate your support in that regard. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Well, with that, we have a presentation already on screen, and we can just start going through.
And we'll for people on the phone, we'll talk about the numbers, slide numbers we're on. So we're going to slide 2, which is the agenda for the day. What we'd like to do is review the objectives, talk about, give an overview of the departure and extension that we have. But this is really intended, Jim and Fuzz, for the mechanical people, if they were going to be combined, because they may not be as familiar with as you all are. So we can either skip these slides and do them later, or if you all can be helpful to George and you guys for us to review that with you, we can do that, whatever. Okay. Then we're going to review the RI questions that either were still remaining from last time we met, or some of the responses draft responses that we provided in our meeting. Okay?
I don't think we have any reviewer from NEB, right, from the Clinical Branch. Yeah, maybe you can give us some high-level information, and then maybe we'll pass the information along to our Clinical Branch.
The idea was that we would call Teresa, the reviewer who is responsible for the one REI, in place, and let her know that we thought it might be at the end of the meeting. So we put it off to the end.
Yeah. Okay.
And let's get in touch with her.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
I would like to make a comment, just a general comment on, emphasize the portions of just not necessarily to get too deep into it, but to emphasize the questions that we didn't really have time to discuss from the past meeting.
Yes.
Spend a little bit more time on those, perhaps more time on the questions that we already read and already we're on the same page.
Yeah.
And then we have having had a couple of weeks to sort of digest some of this information, we have some questions on some of the material that you presented the last time, so we can also talk about that.
Sure. That's a good idea. So we'll go, how about if we go through the review of the REI questions, we'll go through our slides, see where we are, and then if you still have any questions.
Sure, we can do that. I mean, you have basically all the questions in the same format that we had last time, right?
Yeah, we don't have all of the questions, and all 27 questions are not in the
Oh, okay.
But I have the basic.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if there's something that I have here in my notes from the older presentation, then I can bring up and talk about it.
Right, we can read the slides that the REIs were reaching in agreement last May, or second May. We can include those slides.
Okay, okay. I didn't have that here, okay.
Yeah, I apologize.
But it may be worthwhile to address, maybe just to roll through those maybe later in the meeting to make sure that there is agreement that you don't want on each other.
Yes, we can certainly do that.
So if you've got the 522 brief, which I do as well, we can just go back to that at a certain point.
Right. So we want to give you, this is in the presentation last time, and we didn't get to talk about the preliminary results that we got from the soil and bedroom sensitivity studies and the benchmarking that we did for the MSM. And then finally, we're going to talk about our plans for responding to the RIIs and addressing the site issues. Okay? So that's the agenda for the day. Now on slide 3, the objectives, what we want to do is describe particular mechanical brands through the process that we're using to address the seismic exceedances that we have. We want to continue discussing the RII questions and summarize our planned approaches for the responses that we didn't discuss in a grid line We're going to get preliminary results from the sensitivity study on the effects of the flow that we utilities superlock on the site design of the reactor building, fuel building, and control building. And then we want to present the approach and the preliminary results that we have from the benchmarking that we did of the factor 2010 modified subtraction method that we're using for the sensitivity, and that we're using for the SSI and SSSI analyses that we're doing now. And we want to determine whether the plan that we have that we're going to propose to you meets the existing NRC or supports the NRC review schedule that you all have created for the seismic review, which is essentially to get your SDR results on items written by September 20th. All right, so this is the overview of the departure and the exemption on slide 5. So, Jim, do you want to go through this, or do you want to? Hold on.
Well, we'll talk about this a lot. The mechanical part, right? Mechanical people wanted to. Yeah. So it's a mechanical part. I think we probably can skip this one. If later we have a time, if we get a mechanical guy here,
I thought the mechanical portion was going to be focused on the level.
That's right.
They're concerned.
So
is it a way to put that all in a box and save it for later? Just keep sticking slides?
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I think that would be
Okay.
time then that obviously are birds exceed the CRS.
That's right, yeah. I think those are the most important parts on the part first.
Yes. We're going to go to slide 14 for those of you that are on the phone, and IDOT is going to this II. This is connected to 7111, and it's about where we put the control appointment for the Carlos complex. So we had a long discussion about this. I'm sure you recall in the we revised our strategy, and we want to present that to you. Okay?
We also get the opportunity to discuss with the firm had a similar type of issue.
Yes, they do.
2 years back, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So will the reviewer that's going to be responsible for the slides we just skipped, will they be contacted and be available this afternoon?
That's the idea. I'm going to send an email shortly.
Thank you.
But unfortunately, it wasn't the reviewer. It's the branch chief. I don't know if that's unfortunate or not. Hopefully she'll come with somebody else who's familiar with the issue. That was just how it worked out for today.
And do we know, based on the opinions we have right now, and the content of the slides, whether other areas for which the reviewer might not be here?
No, we've got just that one area, one RNI, literally.
Okay.
Well, we draft, but
for
draft and then check and then.
correct, thanks.
Chapter 19, he said that he has. Chapter 19 will cover for chapter 19.
Yeah, so we'll be covered. Okay, so with that, let's review one of our favorite RAIs, biological complex control point. Alina?
Thank you, Gina. So as you recall, this was one of the RAI questions that you had some other concerns and we needed to go back and devise our strategy for that. Just to refresh everybody's memory, the RAI was stating that for the FWSC, the country field below the map, and is represented as an integral part of the structural model. So it asks us to provide justification for defining the control point at the bottom of the base map as opposed to the bottom of the country field. And it further states that if defined at the bottom of country field, the combined structure would be considered as an embedded structure and NEI check should be applicable. The second part of the question, this part we sort of, I think they agreed on, I just included it as for completion, was asking that even though the FWSC and CD have similar stored columns, how come FWSC has a lower amplitude and is shifted to in response, last time we talked about the FIRS. As far as the definition of FIRS that goes to section 252, we stated that the definition of FIRS at the bottom of the foundation of the building is appropriate in the institute. And it's also consistent with the SOC requirements and HG 17 as well as the NEI white paper. And it's consistent with the definition of CSPRS in the DCE. So the FIRS in the institute so far, we want to keep at elevation 282, section 252. But to address the high frequency concern that you had, and the concern was that because we are calculating the FIRS on top of the significant amount of saprolite, this saprolite will go through nonlinearity. We have concern that some of the high frequency portion of the spectra will be damped out and shifted towards lower frequency, and probably the load pass through the structure goes through the country field, and we wanted us to address that high frequency portion. So to address that, we are defining a new SSI input response spectrum, both horizontal and vertical, and we will calculate this at the average elevation of the bottom of country field, which is the same elevation that is used in the SSI model, which is the average elevation of top of zone 3-4 rock. And this new SSI input response spectrum will be calculated consistent with the existing FIRS. So we do the 10-4, 10-5 at low frequency, high frequency phase response analysis, calculate the design response spectra at that elevation, and that becomes our new SSI input response. And because it's consistent with the FIRS, the existing lower bound assessment upper bound profiles are still applicable. They come from the same phase response analysis. And we do an additional set of SSI analysis using this new SSI input and response spectra with control motion this time at the bottom of the country.
So we develop time history and all those stuff.
Yes, we match the time history to that, and then the time this spectrum is an outcrop spectrum we calculated within spectrum, within time histories corresponding to that, and those will be used as interpretation.
Two questions. You are going to document this in 371, the process of defining this outcrop spectrum at the bottom of the country. So is that going to be documented in 371? Okay, and are you going to do the NEI check?
So that's, I'll go over that in the next couple. So our design basis will become the envelope will keep the existing analysis, which uses the FIRS at the surface of the source column. We have this additional analysis with the new SSI input response spectra at the bottom of country field, and our design basis will be the envelope of these two, the results from both analyses. That's in the SSI domain. So any questions up to here?
So what you're saying is NEI check will not do.
Exactly. That's,
What happens if we really do and compare the results with your approach?
so
How is that?
let's go to the next slide and then let's discuss. So basically, ISG 17 suggests that the TBSRS should be enveloped by SSI analysis, and this is the NEI check that we all talk about. The intent of NEI check is to show that the TBSRS is enveloped or are enveloped both horizontal and vertical by deterministic SSI analysis at top of the controversial points. Our proposed approach would meet the intent of NEI check because the FWSD third, which is calculated at the top of the soil column, is the PBSRS for this bill. We are, and our SSI results does include the PBSRS as part of the design base. We're doing the additional analysis for this. So all we're doing is that NEI check is shifted from the site response analysis to the SSI analysis. Therefore, no additional NEI check is warranted in the site response.
In this new analysis, you define an outcrop spectrum. You spectrally match to that outcrop spectrum. You transform that spectrally matched time history.
And you check for appendix X.
Minimum required response. Yes.
Okay, so in that whole process of going from a outcrop defined spectrum at this new elevation to a set of in-column time histories, you do two things that are sort of extra. One is the check against what Menace just says, the minimum required spectrum, which tends to give you a little bit of amplification at the lower frequency. That's typically where you get efficiency. That's one enrichment, enhancement. And then there's a second, which usually tends to be bigger, which is the NEI check, where you take the motions that you've defined as outcrop, you convolve them up to deterministic row columns to a certain elevation that you're defining as PBSRS elevation. In this case, you're saying it's 282 feet, which is roughly the true term.
8 feet below.
Alright, so there's a little bit of it. So you convolve it up there, and you verify that it envelopes the PBSRS. That's the step. You're saying that you're still doing it, or it's not worth it, or how?
So the point of doing that step is that you want to make sure that the PBSRS coming from probabilistic response spectrum is included in the envelope for your SSI analysis. Right. In this case, we are doing an additional set of SSI analysis explicitly for PBSRS. So we are analyzing our building by applying the PBSRS at surface.
Or in other words, what you did previously.
What we did previously. We include that, and then we are.
So you're enveloping at the output phase instead of at the input phase.
So that's the last thing you can do. The third one would be state. Okay, if you get out of the comfort of the
See, the thing here is that when you're evolving up to the surface, whether you can evolve up to using the profiles that have the saprolite, you're going to get a very different answer relative to when you can evolve up to the surface with a concrete in there.
So this is all done in the pre-tier. Like the NEI check you would do within the pre-tier. The country
in situ saprolite, if that's your definition, then yeah, you would be covering.
And what concrete field is part of
The concrete field is
for the model purpose, the concrete field of the structure. They don't do the compromise. What they're doing is probably the surface they use two inputs. One is the foundation load, one also is the surface. And then they will envelope these two analyses. And that is the design basis.
Right. So they're enveloping at the end.
But you can have when you're saying, please, can you please remind what's the shear velocity for several lines?
It's in the range of, I think the best estimate at the surface is in the range of 7. And concrete is 7,000. 7,000. Okay, thank you. Just
Right. Yeah, the concrete is actually explicitly modeled in the structure itself. So when you look at the design, the house model has these brick elements modeled.
Do we understand that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I have to think it through. You know, I don't know.
What about the top one? Everything the top one blue?
Yeah, I mean, there is an 8 feet difference between.
No, that's okay.
I have to think about it. Probably okay.
Well, we can always revisit this issue. Let's move on. I think that I understand. Let's think about it.
So I'll be back to you. Okay, thank you. Can go to the next one. So regarding part C, and we discussed this last time, basically the difference is that the FWS3 thirds was calculated on top of the satellite layer, as opposed to the control building, which is calculated at elevation 241 on top, within the rock layers at the front. So basically, compared to CG, larger nonlinearity effects for FWS3 result in a smaller ratio of 10 minus 5 to 10 minus 4 ARS. And that causes a significantly smaller design factor, and it causes a shift of the high frequencies. So that's once you recognize that there is a difference of elevation that we calculated there. That's it. And we didn't include this in the RF. So if there's any questions, they can answer. Otherwise, I don't know if Nick and James are on the call.
We're going to do that at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Skip number 12 because our SMEs are on the West Coast. Is that what we said, Jeff? Which one? Not the next one, number 12.
37112.
Oh. We talked about this last time, student RII, and we revised our strategy to follow the SRT, but we'll go over that at 11, if that's okay? Okay. So we are going to move on to 373, unless you want to talk any further about what Ollie is just presenting. Ready to move on?
So questions on part B?
Well, I have a question, but it's only tangentially located here. You were going to document this, how you're combining the 10 to the minus 4 results with the 10 to the minus 5 results. That's all going to be documented in one.
You had an RNI for the source profile, so the string compatible source profile, how we combine the 10 results from 10 minus 4 and 10 minus 5, and we are providing those.
So that information is addressed in the
Okay, so which one is the next one?
So we'll go to slide 25, which is RI 373-1, and we're going to turn the presentation over to Udenhoa.
This question was regarding, there was explanation on how the design motion will be developed for seismic category 1 piping, tunnels, and basically also we were asked to provide some description in the EFSA regarding this. So we will revise the EFSA to clarify, to describe the process for developing the seismic design motions for these structures, which will be consistent with what we have specified in DCD section 3.7.3.13. And basically we will follow the similar methodologies for seismic category 1 structures, considering the full count profiles for the grid structures, and then those